And a very big hello everybody, welcome to one of the most iconic racetracks in the world, Silverstone in the UK for the British Formula One Grand Prix. This is season 6 and round 7 of the championship, and it's shaping up to be a fantastic season. Let's take a look at the track layout. 5.8 kilometres in length, 18 turns, 2 great DRS zones, plenty of overtaking opportunities and some high-speed turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Let's head up to commentary.
Hello everyone and welcome. It is me, old mate James, tonight, just by myself in the box at the moment, and we only have 11 races tonight as well. There's a fair bit of other stuff going on at the moment, but we're going to crack on anyway. We have just started this qualifying session at Silverstone, as so luxuriously introduced by HK Racing there. And it is looking like a dry quali session, which is good to see. Doesn't look like there's any potential threat of rain at all, at least not for qualifying. Don't know about the race itself. If anyone that is engineering could jump in the Twitch chat and let me know what the actual forecast is for the race itself, that'd be really good. It's interesting to see we're here at Silverstone in the UK, notorious for its terrible weather, essentially. It's not uncommon for it to be a miserable, dreary sort of day here in Great Britain. So at the moment we have 33, extra 10 came from. We've got 33 Evis, is our first car out on track in the Alpine, in the Williams, and he's being followed by LJ in the LJ actually following him really quite closely. He's going to want to increase that gap out before he starts his hot lap, otherwise he's going to get seriously impacted by Evis being right there in front of him. So, there he goes. LJ's starting to slow down now. So we'll jump on board with Evis to observe his crack here at the hot lap. Still warming up those tyres a little bit. And here he comes up to the final sector as we have a yellow down the back straight, but that's just guys warming up their tyres. So Eva's starting the lap now. Crosses the line to begin the lap. Not a bad exit out of the final corner. Okay through turn 1, 10 to turn 2, it's a decent line through turn 3. How much will he cut the corner through 4? Well, didn't really cut it very much at all there, interestingly. Big cut there, which is what you're going to see. Maintain that speed. DRS open down this straight. Of course, we'll set a purple sector 1 as he's the first car out there in a hot lap, and he goes around! Keep going, Evis, that was a beautiful 360. No, so that's his lap done with. Wonder if that has significantly impacted LJ. It doesn't look like LJ has aborted his lap as a result of that. Hopefully he was far back enough where there wasn't an issue. Through Maggots and Beckett's. Takes a little bit of the sausage curb there. Gets an okay exit. Interesting line there, choosing to stay right over the left-hand side of the track. This is an okay lap from LJ, but from what we've seen so far, it's nothing amazing. He will be coming around the final corner now to cross the line, and that gives us a 27.6. I take that back. That's actually a very respectable lap time. Huey with a 27.5, one of the other contenders here. I believe he's the current lead in the Drivers' Championship. Bassink with a 28.6. Hester in the other Mercedes right up there next to LJ. Valhalla has just set a purple sector 2. He is in the McLaren, and that looked like track limits there, but His lap has not yet been invalidated. So we'll see what happens as a result of that. He's coming around across the line. And yeah, technically still a valid lap, but it's not a competitive lap. 29.9. So I'd say he must have lifted fairly significantly there when he broke track. We'll have a look at Werribee in the Ferrari. He is currently on a hot lap and invalidates there. So what was that's turn 6, I believe. So just took a little too much curb on the inside. And that will be the end of that lap for Werribee. Fortunately, it was relatively early on in the lap, so he can maybe save his batteries and his tyres for the next one. Evis is on an out lap, and most of our other drivers are on an out lap. So it's Werribee and Evis really are the only ones on the out lap. That is assuming, of course, Werribee does try and go for another one, doesn't choose to pit for fresher tyres. He's not really watching where he's going there, almost went straight into the Rolex sign. He's dragging that brake pretty heavily to burn fuel and gain battery back. So yes, he is past the pit entry now, so Werribee will be going for another one right now. Hopefully he goes a little bit better than the first one. It's got a fair bit of mud all over the front wing there. Hopefully that's not impacting aerodynamic performance. It definitely makes the Ferrari look a little bit spicy. It's a bit of a brown nose, as some might say. Just laughing at my own jokes, don't mind me, guys. Werribee very tender with the throttle there through turn 4. As those soft compound tyres have now done a little bit more travel time than he would have hoped at this point on a hot lap. And he keeps it in 5th gear there, interesting, on the run around to the old pit straight. It's 5th gear a little bit high, I would have thought, for that corner. And all invalidates in cops, just trying to give it the beans too much there. And that will be the end of his lap. And I would say that's going to be too much wear on those soft compound tyres now, and he will almost certainly be into the pits. Evis going strong so far on his lap. Just finished Sector 1. He's coming around onto the old pit straight now. Down through to Cop's corner. Let's see, will he lift? Yes, he lifts to about 50% throttle, which is not enough there. Runs wide off the track. Fortunately, there's a significant amount of runoff there, so he's able to not invalidate, but that will cost him a lot of time. So that's a purple Sector 2. I think that may be the old bug back in play there, as I doubt he got a purple Sector 2 after running that wide in cops like that, but you never know, it's possible. We will see. He's coming up to the line now, keeps it neat through the final corner, and sets 4th place with a 28.0. He's 1/100th in front of Shinuti. So who's on a fast lap at the moment? Shinuti is about to start one. Svesky's actually on one right now, so we'll jump on board with him. He's coming up to Cops. Will he be able to keep it in bounds, unlike 33 Evis? Yes, he doesn't break track limits there. Good through Maggots and Beckett's, looks really good. Ooh, tiny little slip at the rear end there, coming onto the back straight, but not too bad. That won't have cost him too much time, but it will cost him a little bit. You never know, that could be the difference between P1 P2. So we'll see how he goes here. He's coming to the final section of the track now. It's looking really quite good. Oh no, 28.4. So the problem with losing that little bit of traction there at the exit of Maggots, Beckett's, and I believe it's Church or something, in one of those corners down there, when you're coming onto the old hanger straight there, that costs you so much time having a little moment there, because that loss of speed carries all the way down that straight, and it ends up costing you significantly for such a small error. So it's one of those corners where you really want to get the exit all perfect. So Werribee still going around. Huey currently just started a flyer, so he's provisional pole at the moment with a 27.5. We'll see if he can improve that time with the goldfish helmet there in the cockpit of that Alpine as well. Looks excellent. Basink has just crossed the line and set at 28.1, so he's improved on his time. Well, LJ has just pipped Huey for pole by 0.3, so this lap very important for Huey in the mid-section of this qualifying session to not let LJ assert his dominance. Oh, and Huey's invalidated through Maggots and Beckett's. So I imagine he'll be into the pits, and Hester actually pipping Huey's time as well. So Huey into the pit lane now. He will recover, and he'll probably be out for one more lap by the end. Who else have we got? Werribee. Where is he at the moment? He's just exiting onto the old hanger straight. Got that rear wing wide open. Keeps it nice and tight through the final corners of the track here. And he will set a 28.4. Not the lap time that Werribee would be hoping for there. We've now got Valhalla, and Milk is on an in lap by the look of it. So we'll watch Valhalla here as he's entering Sector 3 now, the final part of the track. Actually, no, Valhalla appears to have aborted his lap as well, and he is also into the pits. So he must have been on an in lap as well. So we've got everyone on in laps. There is no action out as we are in that awkward time where everyone's between their quality laps at the moment. Everyone's going to wait just a little bit longer to ride the end of the session. So, I don't know, it's just me. Got to vamp about something. You guys are in the Twitch chat. What's your favourite meal from KFC? Do you, are you a box kind of person, or are you into just more the, you know, the combo burger and chips? Your boy Cappy with the Zinger box, that's always a good one. Yeah, Zinger box. Not a Zinger stacker? Zinger stacker's where it's at. I don't know why anyone would ever get the original, like the regular Zinger, and the Zinger stacker exists. You're just wasting time there. May as well get the stacker in there. Steady just ordered a burger feast for the family. Nice, nice, nice. I remember back, well, probably a few years ago when I was about 22 or something, I'd get the family burger box. Comes with 4 burgers, and I'd just smash that. That'd be my dinner. Unfortunately, my metabolism doesn't let me get away with that anymore. Can't eat 4 burgers and 2 chips in one sitting. As we have Nordal in the AlphaTauri, the mighty AT coming out, and Milk. Had a bit of a moment there. May have had a bit of a moment there. Nordal with a current 28.5, so looking to improve that. If he picks up just 2/10, that'll get him 2 places on the grid. So even a small improvement here by Nordal will pay dividends when it comes to the main race with the way this grid is currently lined up. Skipper says 6 pieces of chicken, a few wings, and a popcorn chicken. Yeah, nice. Tenders are underrated, Cappy. I agree. I don't know why anyone eats chicken with bones in it. Just anything that's boneless is what I'm after. I want nuggies, I want tenders, I want fillets. That's what I'm after. Hegs is calling a 27.0 from Huey. That would be very, very impressive. I don't know if that's... I mean, we might see that. We legitimately might see that. But I would be surprised. 27 flat is a tall order in a qualifying session. And we see Nordal now. The only car out there on a hot lap. Hopefully he does not hit traffic as he is slightly out of cycle with a lot of the other cars here. And he is quickly gaining on that Mercedes of LJ. He's about to finish Sector 1, and he is a 10th up on his previous lap already. So this is looking really good for Nordal here. If he can maintain this, he should have no problems picking up a couple of positions on the grid. LJ doing the right thing and pulling right over to the side. Nordal goes through Cops really, really nicely. Coming into Maggots and Beckett's now. Keeps it tight. Looks really quite good there through the S's. Maybe a little bit wide through the final corner there on Church, which will likely impact him down the back straight here. And it looks like he's aborted the lap as a result. He knows that that little mishap is going to cost him dearly, and he's aborted the lap. It's very, very late in the lap, though. To abort. I don't know. He has to go for a lap in between now, because he just will not have the battery to go for a whole nother lap right now. Well, he has to, because he doesn't have time. There's only 1 minute left in this qualifying session. So it is do or die now for Nordal with only 46% battery. He starts his final hot lap of the session. We also have a number of other drivers on their final laps. LJ, Hester, Huey is coming around to the line now. He still has 45 seconds to start his final lap. So there should be no dramas there. And let's watch Huey jump between Nordal and Huey, because I really want to see Nordal in that AlphaTauri do well, and I think he's got the stuff here to get a couple of good positions. But we want to see if Heggs can actually pick up that 27-0. Oh, sorry, if Huey can pick up that 27-0 that Heggs suggested. Looking good so far by Huey here. Looking really good by Huey. That's the flag for our session now. So Bassink will be our first one to finish. Oh, sorry, Milk actually, first one to finish. Bassink with a 27.5. Massive improvement. Puts him up onto the front row of the grid. We'll see if that comes down though, as there will be a lot more drivers finishing the session. So P2 for now. That may change. LJ 27.206. So improves his time, but not by much. We have Hester off the track in the final corner. Valhalla into the pits and has retired from the session. So unable to improve from Valhalla, unfortunately. Huey coming around into the final 3 corners now. It's looking pretty good. Keeps it clean. Crosses the line for a 27.3. So beats his teammate Bassink, but unable to get that 27-0 as Heggs proclaimed. That leaves LJ currently at the front of the grid. Evis has invalidated his lap, so he will not dethrone him. Shanuti and Werboy into the pits. And Zvezki's crossing the line there with a 28.1. That's a very... Zvezki's going to be disappointed with that qualifying time after his performance in the recent couple of weeks. He has been doing quite well, so he'll be a bit upset with that qualifying time, and he is now, if he wants a podium, going to have to fight his way through the pack from 8th. Alright, there we go. So LJ on pole position, Huey P2, Basink P3, Hester 4, Evis 5, Shanuti 6, Wereboy 7, Zvezki 8, Nordal 9th, Milk 10th, and Valhalla 11th. I don't think there were any incidents. No, there was not. Oh, a few people speeding in the pit lane. Huey, Basink. Basink twice. You naughty boy, Bass. What are you doing? Slow down, mister. You will get a fine. It's alright, it's only qualifying session, so that doesn't actually apply any penalties. So the guys will be fine for the main race. They will just have to be really careful that they don't make the same mistake in the main race. That is a fairly easy mistake to make here, as Silverstone, one of those tracks with a 60km/h speed limit rather than the 80 that a majority of the others have. And it looks a lot more cloudy and overcast than the qualifying session here for our feature race, but it doesn't look wet or rainy. Just while we're on the loading screen, I will chuck up a prediction as well. Let's go. Will there be a safety car in first 5 laps? What do you guys reckon about that? And I'll give you 1 minute to make that prediction. There you go, guys. The prediction should be up. Will there be a safety car within the first 5 laps? Only 5 laps. I didn't do 10 because we're actually only doing 26 laps here at Silverstone, as it is a little bit of a longer track on the F1 calendar. So make sure you get those predictions in. We've got someone putting something on no. Right, so drivers are on the grid. We have 5 lights. They're out. Bit of a slow start from a lot of these guys. Oh, big moment from the Williams driver there. I believe that was Evis. Yes, that was. So he's caught up in the back. And we've got a big battle between Huey and Hester. Oh, Huey's gone around. He's been tagged. He hasn't fully spun though. So he's lost a lot of positions as a result of that. But he is still with the main pack of cars here. We've got another side-by-side. I believe that was Milk and Evis fighting for position, as these guys in the back are really jostling to get that track position. Milk makes a move up the inside of Evis. Really good there. Evis let him have the space, and Milk said, thank you very much, I'll take that. Because now Nordal is trying to get the same thing done, but unable at this stage. Up the front, we have Zvezki with a little bit of that slower qualifying session than we normally would expect from him. Has already picked up a number of places, 3 places to be exact, and is now in P5. So we have 4 drivers opting to start on the hards, and then the rest on the mediums. So it will be interesting to see if weather plays a part in the tyre strategy here today. I know it did last night in the novice division, and we have a yellow in the back. I believe that's Nordal has been caught up in some sort of an incident. Hopefully he does not have damage. And now we've got Hester going around in the final corner as well. Oh, that is very, very dangerous there. Hester almost rejoined directly onto the racing line as Nordal was coming around. Now Zveski and Shanuti are going side by side. Zveski up the inside and gets the move done. DRS is not yet enabled, so Shanuti unable to fight back particularly well at this stage in the race with an exit with a corner like that. Zveski using those medium compound tyres to his advantage to try and get past Shanuti while he still can before those mediums drop off too much and the hards really come into their own. Schneid in the Twitch chat claiming Zveski has reclaimed his place as the GOAT. I don't know about that. Well, I wouldn't say GOAT just yet. He is still in third. If he gets up into first, then you can maybe start talking about GOATs. 33, Evis and Milk still battling here. These guys really, really going for it. That Williams is rapid, and Milk is going to be facing a really hard attacker that he's going to have to defend once DRS is enabled. Huey and Valhalla. So Huey makes a move up the inside of Valhalla and manages to make that stick for now. We should see, yes, there we go, DRS is now enabled, so we will probably start to see a few positions change. LJ Bassing have broken DRS to the car behind. Shanuti is really just on the inside edge of DRS with Zveski in front of him, and Shanuti will be really thankful for that, as that's going to protect him from losing this position to Werriboi behind him. If it wasn't for that DRS for Shanuti, Werriboi definitely would have gotten that position. Nordal looking to make a move on Valhalla, but decides against it. This is a little bit too far back to make any sort of lunge. Oh, this is really nice though. Gets on the inside. And on the exit down to the old pit straight, Nordal is in the lead. That was a brilliant overtake by Nordal there in the AlphaTauri. And Valhalla runs incredibly wide through Cops. Almost certainly would have picked up a warning there. He cannot blame Nordal for running him wide there, as Nordal was fully ahead. Jump back on board with Werriboi, who looks like he's trying to make a move on Shanuti. Unable to at this time. Shanuti covering the inside of any potential lunge from Werriboi, then moves back to the racing line when he sees that Werriboi is too far back to make an attack at this stage. But now with DRS and Werriboi being really right on the gearbox of Shanuti here, Werriboi is going to be wanting to get past him. Both of these guys on the hard compound tyres, and you can see that they are dropping back from the front medium runners. They definitely are a little bit slower on the pace. Shanuti now does not have DRS. Werriboi does. Werriboi not looking to make any sort of crazy dive. So it looks like Shanuti left the braking quite late there, so Shanuti probably pressing his tyres fairly significantly at this stage. So it'd be interesting to see what the tyre wear is like for these guys. As Milk and Evis on the medium compound tyres stuck behind Shanuti and Werriboi on the hards, and these guys will be really upset about that, because that's going to significantly impact the strategy for Milk and Evis. Here we go again, Werriboi with DRS and using the battery on about 65%, Shanuti 80% and not using the battery. Werriboi makes a move to the outside. They're going to have to give each other space here. Shanuti taking a lot of curb, even though space was left for him. They're still wheel to wheel now, coming into the final three corners. Shanuti pulls ahead. Werriboi unable to go for any sort of switchback, as there's not really space there. Now Werriboi facing an attack from Milk. Milk has a quick peek, but will not make the dive. And that was really good wheel-to-wheel racing there from Shanuti and Werriboi. The McLaren versus the Ferrari. We got Robbie in chat cheering for McLaren. That was very well defended by the McLaren. And Shinudi used relatively small amount of his ERS to defend that, whereas Werribee used a not insignificant amount to make that attack, which didn't end up sticking. These four here, this is the battle for P4 that we are watching. Shinudi, Werribee, Milk, and Evis. Fighting for P4 in this little train is the two medium runners of Milk and Evis being held up by the hard runners of Shinudi and Werribee. We are coming around to the final DRS zone of the track as well. Shinudi still not using battery. Werribee not using any battery this time, and it looks like Werribee... Oh! Is that contact? That may have been contact there, as we see Evis off the track and then spins. A little bit too much steering angle in the gravel. Interesting way of rejoining the track there, Evis. Be a little bit more careful about that in the future, please, mate. And Milk has actually dropped way back from Werribee as well. So I think there was, just in the background there, we caught a little bit of contact between Milk's rear left and Evis front right, which appears to have significantly affected Evis on the entry into that end of the DRS straight there, and has put him wide into the gravel. So Evis drops back down to P11, but definitely not out of the race. And it looks like, did I just see a couple of drops of rain? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I thought I may have just for a second seen a couple of drops of rain, but if I did, it's a insignificant amount for the moment. I'll just jump into the TV pod camera for a second. I know you guys hate that, but I find that it's much easier to see if it's raining when you jump onto the TV pod, and I can't see any drops of water there at the moment, so it's looking fine. It's still looking dry out there, but it is definitely very foggy and overcast, so I would not be surprised if we see rain at some point during this race. We are 6 laps into a 26 lap race. The majority of the grid is sort of settled down. We still have this battle for P4 going on between Shinudi and Werribee. However, Milk has dropped back significantly, and Evis is now running in 11th after their small little incident. I've got a tip-off from Skipper in the Twitch chat saying that it says it's not meant to rain for the session, so that is interesting. That is good to know. Thank you very much, Skipper, for letting me know. So with that in mind, if it is actually not going to rain for this session, I think these hard runners of Shinudi and Werribee are looking really good here. And we may have had... Did Zvetsky have a bit of a moment? Oh, sorry, did Basink have a bit of a moment there? As Zvetsky has just closed up that gap, which was about 2.5 seconds 1 lap ago. Is now down to 1.2 seconds. So Basink may have had a little bit of a moment there or something like that, but Zvetsky unable to really capitalize on it. As we see Evis get a move done on Valhalla into Cop. Is that correct? Maybe Valhalla had a bit of a moment, as it's not really an overtaking opportunity down there in Cop's corner. Just ask Max Verstappen. With DRS, Valhalla is coming back at Evis. Evis weaving a lot down that straight. Would not be surprised if that gets reported to the FIA, as it did look like a fair bit of weaving going on there. Oh, and we have a yellow flag. Nordal, last corner, manages to get facing back the right way again, however will drop back to P11 as a result. Werribee still staying with Shinudi in that battle for P4. Werribee and Shinudi both above 90% battery. So I get that it looks like these guys aren't really fighting each other too much at this stage. They're sort of looking to work together They don't want to slow each other down anymore. These guys want a podium. They're not happy with fighting for 4th position. But sitting on 98% for Werribee as he goes around Cops, this guy should use a bit more battery. And actually, it looks like Shanuti using a little bit more now. So Werribee should start juicing a little bit as well to keep up with him. Werribee literally sitting on 100% battery for Werribee. That is not what you want. You want to be using at least some, because otherwise that's just performance left sitting on the table. Svetsky catching back up to Basink now, and within that 1 second DRS range here for the 9th lap of the Grand Prix. So Basink potentially going to have to look at defending his position in 2nd place very shortly if Svetsky can stay with him. We're coming around to the DRS zone, and yes, Svetsky will stay within that 1 second for DRS. So that's going to help him immensely. Using a bit of battery there as well. So really wants to stay with Basink here. Basink way out to the left-hand side of the track to try and break that toe. Didn't really look like that was an effective strategy though. So he returns to the racing line to take the corner entry, and that gap now down to 3/10 here. Svetsky coming up to Kops, still gaining on Basink. Both these guys with about equal level of battery. Svetsky really juicing to stay with Basink here through Maggots and Beckett's. Who's going to get the better exit down the long straight? Basink with no DRS is going to be at a significant disadvantage here. Basink juicing a little bit, and it looks like it's going to be enough to deter Svetsky from making any sort of crazy lunge. Ooh, Svetsky really sliding around a little bit with those tyres. Skipper asking for a poll. What kind of poll are you asking for, Skipper? It's a bit too early to chuck up a poll on who's going to win. We're only 10 laps in, so I probably won't do anything like that yet. We haven't even had our first round of pit stops. Safety car. We already had one. We had a poll for the safety car at the start. I'll give you a poll in a little bit when we get closer to the end. We'll see who wins. We'll do a poll for that. And Svetsky now making a run on Basink again. Basink not moving to break the toe significantly like he was last time. Svetsky right on the rear end of Basink here. As they're going down the old pit straight now. Svetsky may actually want to drop... Oh, I mean, he doesn't want to drop back, but following this closely through Maggots and Beckett's is going to be a little bit tricky for him, as he will be getting some dirty air. With these ground effect cars of 22, as we know, they're significantly less affected by dirty air, but they are still affected. Right, Svetsky now pumping the battery. He says, I want to get past him now. Goes up the inside. Basink really giving him the squeeze. They go wheel to wheel. Basink getting a poor apex through the corner there. I know he had to leave space, but really his line there was not great, and that's enabled Svetsky to punch the gas and get ahead as they go through the last couple of corners. So move complete for now by Svetsky. Basink looking to stay with him and not let him get away. Oh, and I apologise, Werribee has now passed Shanuti during that battle between Svetsky and Basink. So Werribee now up into P4, but similar situation to Basink and Svetsky, where Shanuti now staying with Werribee. And we have a yellow. I believe that is the Aston Martin of Milk, trying to get back on track without causing any incidents. He loses a couple of positions. Had a bit of a spin there in turn 5, it looks like, in Sector 1. Yeah, I apologise Ferrari fans for missing that move with Werribee and Shanuti, but Basink and Svetsky were just really going at it, and didn't want to jump away from the action. Basink teetering on the edge of DRS range with Svetsky now as well. Basink down to 14% battery, Svetsky on 27. Werribee and Shinuti have sort of started to use a lot of their battery as well. HK letting us know that the move between Werribee and Shinuti happened at the same time. So probably down that old hangar straight, I would assume, with the DRS advantage is exactly where we got Shinuti, same spot. We see Nordal picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Huey into the pits. Nordal has just pit onto fresh hards, so he was likely picked up those track limit warnings as a result of those tyres still coming up to temperature. Just banning that guy. So now Milk into pits as well. So we're looking like our medium runners coming into pit now. So we're on 11 laps so far that these guys have done on those tyres. So the mediums are probably looking at around somewhere between high 30s to mid 50s percentage, depending on setups and how aggressive these guys have had to be while racing. So I'm not surprised they're starting to look at pitting, especially if the weather forecast is no rain to be expected. That makes sense. These hard runners, they're probably going to look to go to about lap 15, maybe 16. Somewhere between 14 to 16, I think, would probably be the pit window for the hards. So another few laps for them. So we see Zvetsky and our race leader, LJ, come into the pits now. And Bassink actually getting a little bit squirrely there as he chooses to stay out. So Bassink picks up our race leader for now. Werribee and Shinuti on those hard compound tyres now move their battle from P4 to battle to P2. Huey on those fresh hards, now fighting Milk, also on fresh hards. A lot of these guys have a lot of excess battery as well after just having come out of the pits. Huey sort of psyched Milk out there. So, oh, they're still going wheel to wheel. Give me a better camera angle, game. I want to see the wheel to wheel. Sorry we missed that one, guys. We're too busy looking at the front wings. So Milk ends up maintaining that position after Huey almost sort of psychs him out a little bit and pulls back from making the lunge. Nordal goes around in the last corner. Huey pulls back from making the lunge. Milk stops defending aggressively, and then Huey says, "All right, I'll go around the outside," and almost gets the move done, but carries on later into the track, and Milk takes the position back. So actually really good little wheel to wheel there. And now Shinuti. Oh, Shinuti was really right up on the rear end of Werribee for a second there. And Bassink into the pits. So Bassink, our last medium runner, is now into the pits. And I imagine he will be putting on fresh hard tyres. There you go, Bassink onto the fresh hards. Is Bassink going to get out in front of LJ? This will be huge if Bassink gets front. No, I don't think he will. No, he will not. He will definitely not. There you go. So the undercut, or rather the overcut by Bassink, not been effective. Bassink may actually... no, Bassink does not come out in front of Zvetsky. I was about to say... Oh no, sorry, he does. Bassink does come out in front of Zvetsky still. Yep, misspoke there. My mistake. And Bassink on cold tyres as well means that Zvetsky, after having done a lap to warm up, is able to get past him quite easily. Oh no! What happened there? Bassink actually spun. His front wing is gone. After he has just put on those fresh hards, he now has no front wing. So Bassink will be forced to pit. And I wonder if there was contact there as Zvetsky made the move past him, or if Bassink just lit up those tyres as they were still very cold after exiting the pits, misjudged the amount of traction that he would have available to him. Okay, if I change to gap to leader, LJ... Oh! Werribee goes around! In the last corner! The pressure from Shinudi pays off. Werribee rejoins, loses the position to Hester, trying to get back up to speed. So Werribee now down into third, which is unfortunate for him. That constant pressure from Shinudi for the last few laps since Werribee has gotten that position on him eventually pays off. And Werribee ends up making an error, which costs him significantly. As I was about to say before we were so rudely interrupted, if I tap it on gap to leader, so if LJ is currently 19 seconds off of the front. There we go. We have Valhalla, our first hard runner, to go onto meetings. So a pit stop here at Silverstone is actually a really long pit lane. So that's going to significantly affect this race. And I believe Shinudi and Hester, definitely Hester, but even Shinudi, I think if he were to pit now, he would come out behind LJ. And potentially even behind Svetsky. I think Shinudi would come out behind Svetsky. So Svetsky's 25 seconds off of Shinudi right now. Well, let's see. We've got Hester coming into pit. Hester is 6 seconds off Shinudi as he enters the pit. So we'll see once Hester comes out where he will be. He will definitely be behind LJ. Hester will definitely be behind Svetsky. The question is, will Shinudi be behind Svetsky? So here they come now. They're now exiting. So Hester behind Svetsky. He will be in front of Evis. There's no chance of Evis catching up. I really don't know where Shinudi's going to come out here. But that gap between LJ and Shinudi, and Svetsky and Shinudi, is closing up. As those much fresher hard compound tyres now really starting to close that gap and reel in Shinudi. And I would not be surprised if we see Shinudi pit this lap. Unless Shinudi's going to try and mix it up and go hards to softs. That would be really interesting to see. And definitely an option. Well, rather, definitely possible. I don't know if it's a good option. Oh, that's gap to leader, Fluxy, not interval. just in case you didn't notice. I had it on gap to leader. So there you go, Shinudi into the pits. As I said, on lap 16. About to be lap 17 as he crosses the line in the pits. So where is he going to come out? He will definitely be behind LJ. The question is, will he be behind Svetsky? So there you go, behind Svetsky, and by quite a significant margin as well. By a lot. So it looks like that medium to hard is actually paid off quite well. Hopefully Shinudi can stay with these guys and use these mediums in the next couple of laps to really get some work done on these hards. So LJ back in front as he was commanding the lead of this race for quite some time. After all of these sort of pit stop strategies are complete, he's back into P1. Svetsky having an absolute cracker of a race, starting in, I believe it was P8, and now up into P2 after some really, really good driving. Shinudi up into P3, which is also good to see. Hester P4, Werribee 2. Evis and Huey have actually dropped a number of positions, so the Huey fans in the chat are going to be a little sad about that. Poor Huey, not had the best race so far. He did have a couple of incidents, but we did see some really good racing from him as well. Milk and Valhalla up some, and then Bassink, unfortunately, having a bit of an incident. I believe Bassink got caught up with battling Zveski, and I don't know if there was contact there or Bassink just got too excited on cold tyres on his outlap from the pits, but he ended up in the wall with no front wing, so that's why Bassink is unfortunately currently in P11. Milk unable to stay with Huey there. Huey just definitely has the pace. That gap between Huey and Milk, Huey's leaving him behind at a rate of multiple tenths per lap. And we'll have a look at the penalties. So we've got 4 drivers with 3-second penalties. That's Evis, Huey, Milk, and Nordal, and no one else any penalties at the moment. So the race appears to have settled down into a rhythm at the moment. We've got no battles really going on anywhere at the moment, with about 5 seconds between each car for the most part, give or take a few seconds here or there. And, yeah. I guess really the main question at the moment is Finuti on these mediums going to have enough of a pace differential to catch up to Zveski and LJ on the hards. We'll really have to wait and see if the hards to mediums or the mediums to hard strategy ends up coming out best, as Evis picks up his second 3-second time penalty of the race. So that's 6 seconds total for Evis now. Looks like Finuti isn't really able to close up the gap to Zveski. That gap has been sitting at just over 5 seconds for about 2 laps now. Then again, we're unsure how hard Finuti is pushing in the opening laps of this stint on the medium tyres. Maybe he's being a little bit more conservative than he initially needed to be. It'd be very good to see him try and push now and try and close up that gap. In the Papaya McLaren. Yeah, it looks like Finuti is closing that gap up a little bit, as we did see it just then drop below 5 seconds. It's again below 5 seconds. So he is definitely closing that gap up to Zveski just a little bit. But it is not by much per lap, and with only 6 laps left to go here, I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch Zveski. Alright, so Finuti really closing that gap now. 4.6 seconds. So it's looking like he's really starting to push now. Either that or Zveski is starting to conserve. Zveski actually a little bit low on battery. So both these guys a little bit low on battery. He's in around the 30% range. So even though there's a gap between them of about 4.5 seconds, Zveski knows that he's being attacked right now. He's not being directly attacked on track for track position right now, but Finuti is attempting to reel him in. And he knows that, so he has started to push in response by the look of it. He does not want that gap to close up anymore. I'm not entirely sure. We have a yellow flag. What's that? There's not Huey. Must be Bassink? It is Bassink. Down at, I believe that's Church, the end of Maggots and Beckett's there. Bassink has gone around. So that will drop him much further back. He's now 20 seconds behind P10. So no lapped cars yet at this stage. But it's unfortunate for Bassink. That's essentially going to be the end of this race. Ooh, and then Bassink picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. That will really sort of kick him while he's down, although at this stage I don't think that's going to affect his race very much at all. Shinudi dropped back a little bit from Zveski there. It looks like Shinudi building a little bit of battery back up, while Zveski still sitting around the 30%. So it looks like, yeah, Shinudi saving battery a little bit, building it back up a little bit. I'm not sure entirely why, as he's really not got a lot of time to slow down here if he wants any hope of catching Zveski by the end of this race. Hello, Mr. Pizza. How are you going? So if I was Shinuti here, I would really be pushing quite hard, at least to get within, you know, try and get within 3 seconds, on the off chance that these drivers in front of him might pick up a, you know, a 3-second penalty for multiple track limit violations or something of the like in regards to that. But yeah, it looks like that gap blowing back out now. Oh, I think Zveski actually had DRS off of the lapped car, the lapped Alpine of Bassink there. I think Zveski had DRS, which helped him a lot. Now Bassink trying to stay with Zveski here so that he gets DRS. So it looks like Bassink trying to get the fastest lap. So he pits late onto those soft tyres. Is Zveski actually going to let him go? No, Bassink chooses not to overtake. Bassink probably actually within his rights to overtake Zveski there, as he's on fresh softs, and they're going to be significantly faster than these 10-lap-old hards. And you can see that as Bassink right up on the rear end of Zveski. So I'm a little bit surprised that Bassink didn't choose to overtake there. But I guess if he's going for the fastest lap now on this lap, he wants that DRS to assist him in getting there. The fastest lap at the moment is a 29.9 held by Hester in the Mercedes. So there you go. Now Bassink is overtaking Zveski now, setting a purple sector 1 as well. So Bassink is looking to get that fastest lap here at Silverstone, as he's really using quite a lot of battery as well. We have a yellow flag, appears to be Werriboi off the track in the first DRS zone of the lap, and he will lose position to Evis. So Evis now up into P5, however, Evis with those 6 seconds worth, 9 seconds worth of penalties now. So that's going to really impact him, and he's going to be looking to get as far ahead as possible. Bassink also setting a purple sector 2, so that's a purple sector 1 and sector 2 for Bassink now on those fresh soft tyres. Using a lot of that battery. This is the fastest lap of the race. Or actually, will it be? Yes, it will be. 29.4, so fastest lap by 0.5 of a second. Takes that off of Hester in the Mercedes, snatches the fastest lap. I did tell your boy Cappy that I would put a poll up for who's going to win. I don't think I'm going to bother doing that because it's that's basically free channel points at this point. I'm not going to do that. So 2 more laps to go, 2.5 laps to go, I should say. And does not look like Shinuti's able to catch Svetsky. So the medium-hard versus the hard-medium strategy. If there is a difference here, it seems negligible at the most. That being said, though, Svetsky is a very consistent and has good race pace driver, so maybe not the best benchmark to be going up against. Svetsky qualified 8th here and is now up into P2, so he has had an absolute cracker of a race. Doing really well, bringing in some great points for that Red Bull. That Red Bull team here. LJ looking to further decrease that gap as we go into the second half of the season to Huey. Huey, unfortunately, after being tangled up in some probable racing incidents and stuff like that, looks like he's actually dropped back quite a bit as well. So let's actually, I'll just apologize, guys, just while there's not too much happening on track. I'm going to bring up the standings. So, yep, standings, that's what I want. So the gap between Huey and Svetsky in the race for the Drivers' Championship right now is, what's that, 16 plus 11, 27 points. And then LJ is currently P4 with 66 points. Tadachi, who did not race tonight, is P3 with 76 points. So this will likely catapult LJ up into P3. Svetsky is going to be right nipping at the heels of Huey now. And Huey will get some points for this weekend, but not as much as he would have hoped in P7. So Weruboy picks up a 3-second penalty. That is not what he wanted. That is definitely not what he wanted going into the final lap, or he's currently on his second last lap of this race. But it shouldn't affect him too much on track, as Evis in front of him has 9 seconds penalty. So doubt Weruboy will lose that position to Evis with the penalties, but and Valhalla now with 3 seconds of penalties. However, again, I don't think that's going to be relevant, as he's currently running P10 and Basink is behind him. Basink's currently 38 seconds behind him and has 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Basink still currently holding that fastest lap with a 29.4, and I don't think that's going to get contended anymore. Actually, that will not be contended anymore, as we know too late for anyone to pit onto fresh tyres and try and snatch that from him. Unfortunately, Basink finishing in P11, pending any sort of FIA determination, will actually not be able to pick up points for that. Oh, and we've got a spinner. 33 Evis has gone around in the horseshoe. So Huey now trying to catch up to him. I don't think he'll be able to. LJ comes around to the checkered flag, takes that checkered flag. Another victory for LJ in the Mercedes here. That's really going to put him in contention in the Drivers' Championship. Svetsky crosses the line. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Huey. Shanuti brings home some good points, followed by Hester in P4. Weruboy eventually will cross the line and will get P5. Yes, Weruboy will pick up P5 as he takes the checkered flag. Evis, 9 seconds worth of penalties, so he will cross the line in 6. However, Huey will get 6 in front of Evis in 7th by the time those 9 seconds worth of penalties are applied. Then we've got Milk, followed by Nordal, and then finally Valhalla coming around the final corner now in the McLaren, doing some awesome donuts for us. Thank you, Valhalla. Light up those rear wheels. Glorious. Those are some good donuts. He's been practicing that. These are very good. He's been taking some tips off of Seb, I think. Okay, that's enough. Come on, mate. Oh, I thought you were going to reverse it across the line. Alright. Valhalla's having his own party on the line. That's it for the race. So, congratulations again to LJ for P1, Zvetsky P2, and Shinudi P3. That is our podium. Svetsky picking up driver of the day as well. That is a very hard-earned driver of the day. He fought hard for that. Picking up 6 positions in the race and then coming home with a podium after what is, for Svetsky, an unexpectedly lackluster qualifying. So I'll just really quickly do the race director as well for anyone that wants it. Put it in the Twitch stream. Not too many incidents today because we were only racing with half the grid. So LJ P1, Svetsky P2, Shinudi P3, Hester P4, Weruboy 5, Huey 6, Eva 7th, Mook 8th, Nordal 9th, Valhalla 10th, and Bassing 11th with the fastest. There you go, guys. Hopefully you can see that. You should be able to see that, okay, on the stream. So that was the standings prior to that race at Silverstone. So you can see Huey was leading the championship, and I believe once the results come out for that one that he still will be. However, Svetsky is going to massively close up that gap. And LJ, now more than ever, looking for some serious points. So that was round 7 of 12. So we still have... I'm going to take my shoes off and count it off. We still have 5 laps left to go. So 5 races left to go this season. I just realised I've been talking over the music the whole time. My apologies, guys. My apologies. Yeah, Shneed, the music is excellent. The music is made by one of the guys, one of the racers here in ARL. It's made by Gaz. Yeah, check it out. Check it out now. Just turn it down a little bit so you guys can move to it. Alright. So there you go, guys. That was round 7 at Silverstone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I have been Old Mate James. Please join us tomorrow night, same time, for our Elite Division here at ARL. That is 8 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, or 7 PM, sorry, 8 PM Australian Daylight Savings Time, or 7 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night, guys. Thank you, and good night.